In the Children of the Future, beautiful song there by Daddy Lumba. They call him DL now, huh? And all is well with us in the Studios of Love 99.5. But Lou, before we even delve into our main conversation, can you play my song choice from this morning? You have it? All right, so here's my song choice. In fact, I chose this one from DL, and I chose this other one. They are both nice songs for children. So enjoy this one as well from Whitney Houston.
I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be. Everybody's searching for a hero. People need someone to look up to. I never found anyone who fulfilled my needs. Place to be, and so I learned to depend on me. I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadows. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I live as I believe. No matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity. Because the greatest love of all is happening to me. I found the greatest love of all inside of me. The greatest love of all is easy to achieve. Learning to love yourself, it is the greatest love of all.
Whitney Houston there. Beautiful song there. And Leo Stanley has been singing along to this song with his crooked, Hawk's voice. But it's all good. It's all good. Charlie, guys, it's a holiday, isn't it? Leo, I mean, how do you intend to spend your holiday?
I don't do much. Just go relax in the house. The badminton guys are playing this morning, so probably I'll pass by and see what's up. But apart from that, I'll just be relaxing in the house. Listen to some music, get some drink,
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Listen to music, relax at home. He's already had his breakfast, so
Yeah.
some large bowl of rice like that. Eugene,
Yeah, David.
any plans for today? It's a holiday,
Oh no, I just took my sisters. It's been a while, so maybe take her out a bit. Or what else? Maybe rest.
You have some things ahead of you instead of making the time to sit down and
Oh, David, yeah, there's a number trouble there. Because if you're late, you pick the book out when you come. Interesting when you put the book down and the sleep
After 3
disappears.
pages, there you are going.
But my point is, there's no pressure on you right now. I mean, the time is not that very close. So you sit back and you look at it as, oh, more America crap.
No, but I mean, generally, I don't study hard. I try to understand when I'm being taught. Then when I grab it, I know that I'm done, and I'll do some revision.
But it feels good to have you guys with me in the Studios of Love 99.5. It's been a very beautiful week. And of course, that conversation on the KMA Transportation Reorganization has gone far. And to our listeners out there, I know that, having had this conversation for these number of days, it's come to bear that many of you have great ideas that, if implemented, would help us be able to congest or decongest the CBD once and for all. So what we're planning to do is to have a roundtable conference of a sort, where we're going to have a conversation and have inputs from people like you. So watch out for that, next week or the week after. But we played those songs from Daddy Lumba, Children Are Our Future, and of course that of Whitney Houston for a special reason. We're talking about parenting this morning. And we all know that raising of a child or raising children today, comes with a lot of challenges and a lot of difficulties, especially when we have a lot of things influencing the raising of the child. aside from peer pressure, and we all know the peer pressure that is out there, and the amount of influence peers have on people. So you might be, your home, you might be thinking that you're doing a very good job with your child. Unfortunately, there are some children who have two lifestyles: the one they live with at home, and then what they portray outside when they leave home. So, as a parent, you might think that you're doing a very good job, but the friends that your children are keeping are shaping their lives in negative ways as well. But another challenge that is affecting the upbringing or raising of a child in this day and age has to do with technology. Technology, where we have an aspect of it called the social media, and a lot of things are happening on social media. Some great, amazing, good things are happening on social media, and of course, we also have the very negative sides of the social media impact on children. So when the peers, say things to your child or to your children, and do one for fee, and they decide to do what their friends are telling them, we have a lot of leaks, and the Champion League provider is in the studios of Love 99.5. I mean, children aged 14 to 17 or 18 are having sex, and they are recording it, and they're putting it out there.
Orgies,
they having orgies. Orgies is when a guy and two girls or more or vice versa. Say again.
Nothing.
They're having orgies, and the point is they don't see anything wrong with it. They have their orgy session, record it, and even after the sessions, the commentary that they put out, things that they say, will blow your mind.
Joel, send the videos.
Aside from peer pressure, aside from technology with the social media influence and all that, parents of today are compromising on certain things that hitherto were not being compromised on in yesteryears. In today's world, yes, we appreciated that not long ago we had what we refer to as the housewives. So mothers often would be at home, would monitor the children, what they're doing and stuff like that. In today's world, the father is going, the mother is also going. Some of the mothers even leave home earlier than the fathers do. They come home very late. So when the children close from school, where do they hang out? At home? With who? And so we realize that when it comes to parenting, there are a lot of challenges in today's world. But some parents are trying. Some parents are doing so fine. But we're asking this question this morning. Between fathers and mothers, who are doing better? Who is doing better when it comes to raising the child? Between the father and the mother, who is doing better in raising the child? Are fathers doing better than mothers? Or mothers are doing better than fathers? Listen, our WhatsApp number is 055 1111995. 055 1111995. You were raised by parents, or it could be by a parent. Who do you think did a better job on you? Is it your father or your mother? But like I said before, some of the conversations, if you're not careful, could bring problems at home. So if you know that your father or your mother, you are listening, and it could degenerate into an argument or misunderstanding at home, you can send it in an anonymous message. Don't add your name to it. Just send a voice note and tell us who you think is doing better. We're doing this not because we want to have fun just with it, but we want to do this to help improve raising of children in our homes. Now, before Yosale, why are you looking so astonished? The number of comments on the WhatsApp console there. All right, so we'll be sharing those messages shortly. But again, keep them coming. Our WhatsApp number: pick up your phone, pick up your tablet, record a voice message, and send it in. It's 055 1111995. So you were asked to send or share, what do you call it, Leo? You were asked to share what leaks. Are we going to show them on Facebook?
Oh, no, it's too explicit. I mean, you've seen some of them. It's too explicit. I mean,
but you are not very advanced in age, but you've gone a little far.
Yeah.
What do you make of upbringing, the raising of a child in today's world?
As much as it has improved, I also think there are a lot of things that are declining. Mostly because of we are neglecting the. Back in the days, it was a whole society that was raising children. Now it's just families, nuclear families, and there are too many divorces going on in the system, and everybody's just independent-minded these days. And I think that is having quite a negative effect on the general upbringing of our youth. All the things that these teenagers are doing now, it was inexistent in back in our days too, even in your days. But people were measured. You were afraid to a point that you wouldn't want the next elderly person to see what you are doing. But now you're sitting in a trotro, and a girl in a school uniform is talking to her friends about their relationship and sex and this and then like openly.
They don't give a hoot who the adult is sitting by.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, when we were at their age, we were having those conversations too. But you know, you be measured and then you stop or you don't let them hear it. But now they will just tell you in the face. There was this. I remember about 2-3 years ago when I was back at Menchia at Ashtown. I was sitting in front of the house, you know, just chilling, and there was these kids around 10, 12, 9, thereabouts, about 4 of them, and they were on the phone. I don't know what they were doing on the phone, but I was eavesdropping on what they were saying, and then by mistake, the volume came up, and then it was moaning, like you could tell that it was moaning from like a sexual activity, which means they were watching pornographic.
How old again?
10, 12.
How did they come by the device, that mobile device?
Exactly. So I was sitting there, and I didn't know what they were doing. So when the phone, the volume,
sound of the morning,
it just came out one time, and then quickly they put it back off. And I was like, at this age, back in that days, before you get some of this material to watch, some CIA and
but then again, I mean, in our time, we had what we call, I don't know whether it's up there, the mommy and the papa.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So people did stuff, but like you rightly said, if you're in the act or you're doing whatever, and an adult was passing by, you would not want the person to know what you are about.
Yeah, at least you knew that you had a limit.
Yeah,
you knew that you were a child. There are some things that you are not supposed to do, but now they don't care.
And also, you wanted to protect the name
of your family and all those things.
If you look at the videos, the sexual, escapades, the drug usage, and all the things that people willingly put on social media.
I saw one young lady, and she had a photograph. Her profile, it's actually a profile picture with a tongue sticking out with a blue substance on the tongue. And anybody from the streets will know what that blue substance was. It's called the drug they call Rafinol. It's blue. When they
don't mention names already.
Okay, all right. Yeah. So they put it on the tongue, and then once you see that blue mouth, it means they are using that drug.
How much
social media.
We'll talk about the parenting in detail shortly. But how much influence would you say technology is impacting and influencing the upbringing of the child of today, or shaping them?
Because parents are not keeping up. Because David, you only know what you can control. You control what you know. If you don't know, you can't control it. So I think that it all dovetails into parenting in general. And David, because of what you do, I'm heavy on social media, and I'm always complaining on TikTok. I always complain to almost everybody I see. The nudity, and these are young people. It's not like the adults. I don't care, but young people after SHS, the exam, they are going to do pool parties, and you look at the pictures on the flyers and all that, and it all comes down to parenting and the economics of the day. And I strongly believe that the absence of fathers, because David, fathers spiritually and physically are a moral kind of compass, or a kind of direction, or a kind of symbol of discipline. And the absence of them, for me, is generally reason why there seem to be a break in standards and discipline and all that. And the rate is so alarming, especially on the social media, how people can glaringly just insult everybody, their nudity, and it's just crazy, And so for me, I believe that it's just period. They are not able to keep up. And also, again, the standard family system always talk about if the father is not there, the mother is there, so there's nobody to take up that role. So Ojimi Kosa before maybe he or she has a Damascus experience.
What if you want to do? We don't have any scientific basis for the question.
There's a lot of scientific.
No, basis. What I'm about to ask, you don't even know the question yet. Comparatively, are we doing better now as parents? Or the olden days did better than we are doing now?
Okay, so I didn't live there. I was born in the 90s, the early 90s. I didn't live beyond that. But what I know is that there's generally a lax in parenting. Generally. David, again, it's economics. Now, schools are more expensive. Food is more expensive. Shelter or accommodation more expensive. How much is even a bag of cement now? So the kinds of job our parents were doing, that will make them comfortable. Today they have to do 3 times that job. They have to do side gigs, and all these things take them at home, sometimes outside the region, the district, and all that. So there's a vacuum, and those vacuum is already being filled by friends because the parents are not there.
But how about the fact that there are some mothers who would, say, for example, that they are traders. So they leave home very early to trade. Yet turn on television and we have seen the number of women or mothers who are at church premises spending hours praying. Go to town, see the number of fathers who have closed from work, who are supposed to be home, help the children with their homework or help with something that will help better the life of the children, sitting at pubs with friends, chilling and just spending hours. Looking at the two, it tells you that we have the time as parents, but we're not making use of the time. It's not about the quantity, it's about the quality of time.
David, I disagree with you. Our parents, when you take Ghana, there's a new statistic that says that 60% of those who retire at 60 die by their 65th birthday. Why? In Ghana, generally, our parents do not retire, they expire. Think about it. They do not retire, they expire. And the statistics, I'll find it for you, says that at least 60% of those who retire at the age of 60 die by their 65th birthday. They do not take care of their health. So me, I have no issue with a parent chilling small once in a while something.
It's not about chilling small. So maybe you didn't understand the input of what I was saying. We're talking about raising the child. Years ago, mothers would be home as housewives, and they would be there or prepare the child for school, will be there when the child returns from school. And like I said in my intro, in this generation of ours, the mothers are leaving home, sometimes even earlier than the fathers. But yet again, there are mothers who will leave home, maybe open the shop or display their wares, get somebody to take over, and then they spend hours in church. That number of hours, I'm not saying it's wrong to go to church, but they do it on a daily basis. That number of hours they spend at church, if you had spent a little of that time at home, whether the child is on vacation or the child has closed from school and the child is home, and you are there supervising, monitoring, shaping, will do a better job. For the father who will close around 5 or close around 5:30, will hang out and get home around 9 or 9:30, at the time the child is asleep, you wouldn't know the challenge the child had when the child came from school. Even if the child wants to speak to you as a father, you're not available. He's asleep or she's asleep before you come home. You wake up and she's also preparing or he's preparing for school. Who does the child confide in? The child confides in friends. And you and I know that friends have more influence on them, on the children, than parents. So if you are not there and you're not spending the quality time, the child will go wayward. The child, you're not present for the child to communicate with you. We are not raising the children. That's what my issue is.
Yeah, David, I agree, but I'm saying that the key question is that between parents and fathers,
fathers are parents as well.
Yeah,
so
between mothers and fathers, who are more responsible when it comes to raising children. Now, David, that child.
Say it again for our listeners. That's a bit. So say it again for our listeners. Between the father and the mother, who is more responsible in raising the children? That's the conversation we're having. Because in our homes, we have made it as if the father has a particular role to play, and the mother also has a particular role to play in the raising of the children.
And David, I'm saying that, I'm submitting that the child gets to that level where he's uncontrollable, he's undisciplined, because the mothers always, most of them, and some I've lived in compound before, portrays the fathers in a certain bad light towards the kid. So that kid always have a certain perception. You know, today if you like open the phone calls, most male child or male borns understood their father when they hit late 20s and early 30s, when life happens. And when I say life happens, when they marry themselves, when they have children, that's when they understand what their fathers go through. David, you get the point I'm making?
I get it, but I just want to punch a hole in there, but I want you to learn first.
So mothers should stop that attitude.
Give examples when you say we had this.
So for example,
give examples.
So for example, in a typical compound house, and I know lots of callers will bear me out, mothers will always make it seem as if the father is irresponsible
in terms of
paying fees, in terms being there, and all that.
So if the child is sick, it's the mother that takes the child to the hospital.
Yes.
The father is not there. Well, the child is not there because he doesn't want to be there. He's not there because of work.
Exactly the point.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm supporting what you're saying. But the mother will let it seem as if If it has to do with school fees paying, the father might have given money to the woman. The woman will say, "Makoto mentuma na medi school fees." But some women have indeed genuinely sold their cloth.
David,
Genuinely,
you know me. I know the family I come from. I'll be the first person to say women do not contribute to the table. I'm saying that, and this is not about my family. This is about general thing I've lived. I've lived in Koforidua for over 25 years. I've lived in Compound before. I've seen it. I've had friends. I've lived in Kumasi for close to 10 years. I've seen it. What I'm saying is that women generally have affinity to paint their husbands black in front of their children.
Some women.
Majority of them. And when you do that, it leaves a certain imprint on the minds of that child towards the father. Now, David, you know, the consequences of that is that those, especially the daughters, they are not able to have any meaningful relationships because they built a certain mentality, a certain stereotyping kind of mentality over the period. Now, the male child, I always tell you that I hit a certain age and I began to understand my father at a certain level. And if you notice that the fathers of today, right, they go to the PTAs and all that. Why? Why do you think that is changing? Because they know that they are trying to avoid the landmines their fathers couldn't avoid and consume them.
So I said I was going to punch a hole in what you said. Let me do that by asking a question. So, for example, like you mentioned, if people who live in compound houses, and you can also attest to this, people who lived in compound houses, for example, and the mother is painting the child black, painting the father black to the child, let me put it that way. If the fathers were responsible enough to be home and not to be playing dummy outside.
How many of them play the dummy?
Hold on. If you were home and you are being responsible with helping the child to do the homework, availing yourself for the child to talk to you instead of being at a beer bar or doing whatever outside. If the mother is saying those things, the child sees it. Oftentimes, the things that women do that makes the child believe it, the children also reasoning a lot. So when the mother is saying it, the child also observes and says, "Oh, I'm proud that they need help." But there are occasions where so people know so the child then asks what the mother has said and deduces and says, "Oh, mommy can be telling the truth."
David, they are happenstance and they are coincidence. David, no father. There are some. That's why you also say some women. There are some. Maybe
the majority.
They are just irresponsible. But David, eka abadaye, fellow feeling. The women who pretend they care for children.
It's only their children.
I'm coming. When the husbands come to the marriage with children, what do we see? Didn't you do the story where a woman placed the hand
in the boiling water?
Because of two bananas.
And they use a blade afterward to
how many fathers, David, how many fathers maltreat
their stepchildren?
David, in fact, there are people who they know that it's not their children. They know they've done DNAs, but they take off them. You know, some of them we can't show on this platform. But the point I'm saying,
there are even times when there are children in the house, one belonging to the woman and one belonging to the both of them. But when the man sees that the woman's children are doing better in school, sometimes they will even leave their own children and care for the ones who are doing better because they know Mami from Sikamwa the Obetimia. But the woman will never do
when
that.
Zando was here, I made mention of the fact that when it comes to raising steps, you could tell the difference. But let's do this. Lou, let me throw this question to you. Looking at the fact, and for me, I would say that there are stages in raising children. When it comes to lactating and those periods, largely women have to do that. When a child is 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, so from age 0 to age 3 or 4, what did a woman do in raising this child? From that age of, let's say, let me bring it back to 3 to, let's say, 10, what did the father do? What did the two of them do? Right now, when we are having these leaked sex tapes, where 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds are having sex and recording themselves, putting it out there, or it's getting out there, who do you think ought to be blamed for this? Is it the father or the mother?
David, even before Leo comes in, when the girls, you can call your fellow headmasters. How many fathers never before? Listen to me.
I was trying to say that.
I could beat teacher and I could do the teacher to defend them. Some of them, when they are in discipline, and they've been disciplined in school, Oba Boswo, Afana down for do more dinechi, Ako jirama man ebano. Meanwhile, no father. I know say some of them do. A typical father will go there, make sure you go through the process, bring you home, take you through his own process. But mothers, Charlie, say na me know you papa boy say so.
Then they will hide it from
Exactly.
the dads.
So sometimes before the fathers even get to know, the situation has degenerated. They can't do anything about it. That's the point.
What I try to do when I have two children, what I try to do, and now I'm even being told to some extent that, well, along the line I didn't continue, is that I'll try as much as possible to pick my child from school. From school, when I pick you, I'll try and give you a bit of information and insight as to how my day went. Then my next question or issue will be, how did your day go? Now, when I did that, my intent was you would also open up and tell me stuff. And then if there's an advice I would give the advice on that. And that's what I've been doing. So I pick you up, let's say 4, 5. This is how my day went. How did your day go? And then we talk. So there are occasions you pick a few things. Because we are on radio, we ask questions. There are things that you hear. You ask follow-up questions. You get to know the friends they're keeping, the conversations they have, and stuff like that. That's what I try to do. I'm not saying I'm a perfect parent. I got certain things wrong. Okay? But what I'm saying is this. There are some fathers who have time, but instead of making use of the time with their children, would rather want to spend the time doing something outside their home. The woman can only do so much. And like you said, some women will.
Dave, by the time you go, it is even the attitude of the woman that is driving the man from the home.
From the home.
On your do gate, no assume no. You know, and there are countless times that I've seen older people advise young men, "Oh no, you know, and then they will do this continuously
because they expect you not to hit your wife,
yes,
not to have arguments before the children, or to insult
because
you.
That is where he will get at least peers to talk about life. You know, share problems, because you want when I come and share the problems with you, you are only going to
the detriment of the raising your child at home.
No, David.
Why are you driving him away if you want him to raise your child well for you?
David. Generally, what you is saying is that some of them will want to do it, and David, I'm speaking here based on stories, experiences, and all that. Yes, we may not be married, but we've lived life some more. You didn't think David. Some of them will want to do it, but the atmosphere the woman has created
at home,
and you see how he has indoctrinated the children towards the father. Oh, papa, you know, and David, another thing is,
what did you say?
Someone, David, you've not heard a typical.
I didn't hear what you said. I said, I want to hear.
Some of them have indoctrinated the children to the point that they feel like one of my fathers is even coming to pick me or something like that.
When the father is going to pick the child.
Yes.
Okay.
You get it. Now, David, the issue is that, and again, I repeat, and most people who call, I wish young people call, most daughters, most sons, again, understood their father the most when they almost getting 30.
When you say that, let's say hypothetically here, a mother has painted a child black to the father black to the child. But when instead of you having an misunderstanding, an argument, a quarrel, a fight with your wife at home, you want to leave home to go and play the dummy or go and sit at a place and drink alcohol and smoke.
Sanity is important.
Why don't you carry the child along
to the beer bar?
Not to the beer bar. But when you carry the child along and leave home, the way you relate to your child, Mama can say Papa Kukumi, and I'm Papa Bay say. I said listen, even if the women are doing the wrong things, we to some extent are allowing it to fester. We are allowing the children to believe the mothers. Listen, we're talking about the children because when you grow, and you are talking about people who retire and then they die a year or 5 after. Point is, if you did a good job in raising your child, the child will be there for you. We'll call you, we'll check up on you, we'll be there for you. But if you don't do that and you grow, but we at 50 now, 60
do you know that, generally men are not emotional beings? That's why if
we're rational beings.
Yeah, that's why if our birthdays are not celebrated, we don't even complain. But a woman will complain. On Mother's Day, every woman would want a gift. For Father's Day, if you don't wish me Father's Day, I don't even mind.
What is the role of a father? Is it just paying school fees?
Not just paying school fees.
What is the role of a father?
You are there to provide the enabling environment to make sure that the child is astute. So naturally, women care for children because they carry them. They are the one who will breastfeed them and all that. So for the caring bit, that is the job of the woman. They do it better because they are biologically structured for that kind of job. But for the man, it's creating the enabling environment
And the finances.
and the finances. Those are all part. So the emotional bit, just leave it for the women. But the men also the other time.
Do you know how many men are able to work on the emotions of their children, especially the daughters? They are in my home, knowing the kind of I didn't say devils. You know the kind of men out there who and what they are capable of doing. You need to be able to shape the mind of your children, especially your daughters.
Yeah.
Help them to understand the mindset of boys out there. 1 year in a year, and sexual leakages now, they tapes. But listen, let's bring in our listeners. Between the father and the mother, who does better in raising a child? That's our conversation. Who's doing better? Who does better? 03220-83596, 03220-83597, 220-83598. Between the father and the mother, who does better? If you're a young person, who did better in raising you? Is it your mother or your father? The number again to call us on is 03220-83596, 03220-83597, and 03220-83598. Kofi, good morning.
Good morning, Dave. Generally, men are good parents than their wives. And if you will agree with me, even God himself made men the head of the family. Things will get worse when women want to take power from their men. Especially, you are saying so many things, and I can see that you want to say that some fathers are not responsible. That is why their wives will tell their children this and that, and they will hate their fathers. But that is not true. Especially in a home where there is no money. The man has lost his job. He doesn't have job, he doesn't have money, and they have girl child. You see that the woman will say so many things about the father. Oh, Papa Kushini, oh, Papa Nyese, and I know a certain two girls, 16-year-olds, their mothers have asked them to go and sleep with men to bring money home for the mother to take the money.
Could you say the fathers and mothers who are doing better?
And men in the papa and man.
Could you say fathers are doing better than mothers? James, do you agree or you disagree? I mean, James, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Dave.
Charlie James Drummondson.
Actually, I was following the discussions and then I didn't listen to their contribution. I think when it comes to fathers and mothers, I will say that the mothers do better in respect to raising the children. But in both cases, the men have a vital role to play to make sure that they shape the children, because mothers are always sympathizers towards their children, even when they have a way of, as it were, tearing them. But fathers have a strict way of making sure that they direct them to the path. But then when it comes to polluting of the children against their parents, the women are so powerful. I'm saying I have practical experience. This on air, but I can say that I'm divorced and my children are not with me. They are somewhere else. And the mother has been able to pollute them to the extent that I have one boy, one girl. The boy really seems to understand everything that has gone on over the years, and then we flow like brothers. But my girl refuses even to talk to me when I call, because of the kind of things that the mother has told her. Even in the secondary school, she refuses to pick my call when I call. Okay? She refuses to pick my call when I call. But then when she only picks my call when she's with the brother alone.
So James, forgive me if you want to time fathers and mothers who are doing better a job.
With what?
I'm saying that between the fathers and mothers who are doing a better job in raising the children.
I would say each has a role to play.
Who's doing better? Everybody's playing their role. Who's doing better?
Mothers.
Mothers are doing better. That's according to James. And next to hold the line for me, let me engage with Nana quick. Nana, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. You're a father, aren't you?
Yeah.
So is your wife doing better than you, or are you doing better than your wife?
Oh, sorry, I'm doing better.
Says who?
Says me, because now you can.
Let me call your wife and ask her whether you're doing better than she's doing.
In fact, I've been doing better for the past 25 years.
tell me how you're doing this and why you think you're doing better. Let me hear you quick.
I go to PTA. When my child is going for the weighing, I take him myself. He lies on my lap, injections and everything is done. School fees, I attend myself. I pay them myself. I don't give money to any woman to go pay my school fees. No. PTA meetings, I attend them myself. And in terms of, you see, of all the discussion that you're having, you're failing to qualify it with something. That is responsibility, responsible father and responsible mother.
Maybe you miss it, but we've said that. But go on. We've said that severally, but go on.
Yeah, but you see, when you are responsible, that is when you every affair about your child, even in terms of feeding, and even in terms of vomiting, you care enough to even check about the color of the vomit. Because if you don't do that, even any man can give birth, but it takes a responsible father to bring a child to be someone who would be also responsible to know everything around him or her.
We thank you for joining us with your thoughts. That was Nana Kweku there. He says, well, he's doing better. Generally, fathers are doing better than mothers. Ernesto, good morning and welcome, sir.
Good morning, Steve.
Let's say it was.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Ernesto, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, so go ahead. We're talking about mothers and fathers here. Who's doing better in raising the child or the children?
In terms of raising a child, I think the father is a better person to do so. Why am I saying this? There are some things that a mother or a woman can do. For example, financing the child. And again, instilling discipline in the child. Telling the mother and the father. I think the father does it more.
Well, I hear you, Ernesto. But Ernesto, Charlie, do you know what some women are doing when it comes to the financial aspect of raising a child? Some women are doing awesome. Some women are doing amazingly well.
But largely, it's done by the men. Largely.
I will not argue with you on that. But on Facebook this morning, Gifty Dunfer says this is the situation where teachers are banned from disciplining students. Gone are the days when even when you misbehave at home, you'll be reported to a teacher to discipline you. Now they have all their time with friends and phones. So today, as their counsel will say, how dare you touch someone's child? George, good morning.
Good morning, David. How are you?
I am well, George. Good to have you, George. Let's hear you.
Thank you, David. You know, most of the men are doing well because men are the providers. David, I told you my job as a gardener. I have to increase it as a security. So I'll be working in someone's house. Maybe if the work is much, I can spend the whole day there. I have to rush home by 5:30. When I come, I have to change myself and then go to my security work also. One day my child told me that you see, so the women have taken advantage. I have to provide for everything to school my children. But I remember once I provided, my wife went and bought everything when my child was going to SS. I used to provide everything, but I would give it to the woman to go with the child and then purchase all the items. So when my wife came and she was preparing, she had bought all these chopbox and everything and the mattresses, and when the provisions, when she was preparing for the child to go to school, I overheard her say, I said, what? Even up to date, I didn't tell him, but it's my mind. I provided everything, even a pin, a pencil, So, some men are doing all right, but now, David, it is very difficult for us to take care of our children now, especially for these white people who are...
If you can hear me, George, allow me, please.
Homosexual and everything. David, they have made it even more difficult for us to take care of these children because of the social media. Now the white people, now the white men, they are into the schools and are pressing our children to be homosexuals. And that is a problem.
Well, thank you very much, George. But again, I mean, we're not just talking about providing for the children at home. We're talking about shaping their lives, impacting their lives. What are we doing in raising them? Not just providing for them. It's good. But in raising them to become better adults. That's what we're looking at. Okay. Godwin, good morning. And Godwin is going to be our last caller. Godwin, good morning and welcome, sir.
Good morning, David. Very interesting program again. David, George has said it all. And these are the attitudes in our homes. And I like the things that Eugene and Leo were saying. They were exactly on point. David, when you take the olden days, most women were not working. Most women were housewives. And all children who were not able to continue their school to complete to achieve something, you trace and you realize that these were children that their fathers died earlier in life. And at that time, these women that were not working, how were their children going to school and making life? Learning on trade. But men have been trained in such a way that we don't complain, we don't talk. And we don't, when we are like this cat, no matter what you do, we only look at you and turn around. So that is why largely people think that men are not doing anything. But I think now most men play the role of, sometimes you have to take your child out when you have the slightest. I only advise that the man who was saying that they are working and the child seems not to be listening or taking his call. I think he allowed that gap to come in. And you shouldn't have. But when you're broke, make sure that at least, even if it's a month, you have one day. Or even if it is a ceremonial day in a year, make sure your child knows that when it comes to maybe Christmas 25th, that day by all means, daddy will come and take me out. When you are able to play that role, your woman, because most women, what happens, especially the two children, they will like to keep one as theirs. So they will make sure they spoil one against you if you can't spoil the two. And these are the techniques.
But Godwin, we're not talking about raising them alone. I mean, providing for them alone. What impact are you having in raising this child not to go into vices? What are we doing as parents? Who's doing better in raising these children in that aspect?
David, when you have to raise a child, sometimes even though you will not be around the child all the time, but the little time, that's why I'm talking about, is that the slighter time that you have, you make sure you get closer to your child. For instance, I go to PTA no matter how busy I am. And my child knows that nobody other. Sometimes you make sure you contact the child. Sometimes if a ceremonial day, I make sure that we will go out.
Well, thank you very much, Godwin. Let's move on and speak to. But Leo, you were saying something that they will say, "Oh, it's a man in Fred." A man in default, man in Fred. Yes, a man in default, man in Fred. Eric, good morning. Who do you have on?
Good morning, Dave.
Mr. Mankwa, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Dave. How are you?
I am well by grace. I hope you are well too.
Adam. Today's topic is a very interesting one, and I can understand my men at the studio and those calling in, trying to defend some of the indefensible tools. But hey, I would say today's men, most are trying their best. They are doing well. In fact, this topic reminds me of my late husband. Yes, he's a man. He's providing for the home. But the bits, into their children's life, he's doing better. Dave, can you imagine, just about 3 days ago, my 8-year-old boy was telling my 5-year boy that, so he's trying to say that, I'm now a single mother. My husband does almost everything in the home. He supports everything. The children, bathing them, dressing up them. But he goes to work. The time that he gets at home, he makes sure he puts it into the life of their children. He doesn't say, I'm the man, so he can't sit home or stay out. No. He stays out during work, but when he's home, he makes sure the children, enjoy the time that he has for them. Into many about Fide, but I can tell you, maybe no I'm a journey. But when the children are hungry, they go and ask their dad, we are hungry. And
Thank you very much for sharing. Thank you very much for sharing. Let's speak to Eric now. Eric, good morning and welcome. Hello, Eric. Eric, can you hear me, please?
Hello,
Eric, good morning.
Dave.
Yes, boss. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, Eric, welcome. Let's hear you, sir.
What I can say is, I want to give the task to you that you have to take it upon yourself and experiment and see. Comparatively, men and the father and mother, if they are to be taken, they are to take control and raise children in their homes. I think the father is more perfect and more person to take care of the child than the mother. Why am I saying this? If a father raises a child in the home, and after they reach their adult age, you will realize that the child will love the father more than a child who has been raised by the mother. For that one, you have to experiment by yourself. I have seen some, because the mother will, in raising the child, she will be insulting the child. She will doing a lot of things that the child will not like doing. Well, she is in the home to take care of every day, every hour.
So, Eric, tell me, the father, the mother, who is doing better in raising the child?
The father.
I hear you, Eric. Thank you very much. We've got some messages to share with you on our WhatsApp console. Here we go.
Good morning, Dave. I want to be anonymous. All what you people were discussing was as if you were talking about my marriage. Because that was the same thing. Or that is the same thing that is happening in my marriage. Where I try to put things right, and my wife tried to claim as if I don't like the children. The children will be on laptop and phones and laptop and phones and laptop and phones. I will question her. Do you want these children to feel as if they own a laptop and a phone, or it will help in their academic? These children are not academically sound, but these children will sleep 11, 12. Sometimes they will watch after the laptop and phone. When they are on laptop, they will be charging their phone. When they go to their phone, they will be charging the laptop. When they are exhausted with that, games and movies, then they will on the TV and watch the TV till in the morning. And when I try to caution them they should stop, then my wife will pick a fight. To the extent we almost had a divorce because of this issue. It was just God who used the Reverend.
Well, I'm happy that you have not divorced. I pray that you'd find a way to be able to fix whatever challenge or whatever problem there is. And man, take a listen to this one too.
Dave, good morning. Paul here. I think we are confusing ourselves in this discussion. I think women does better in putting food on the table, but men does best in training up a child, and that is the difference. So if it is about a child upbringing, it is the man who does well. Thank you.
Well, thank you too. And Liu has his own thoughts about what he just said, but let's move on to listen to another voice message here.
Good morning, Dave. When it comes to parenting, it needs a lot of sacrifice. It needs a whole lot of investment, and it needs someone who has time. And so any of the parents who have time and can sacrifice and invest in the children is a better parent. In some other homes, you have the woman being the better parent and doing all the work to raise the children, and the father is not available. In some other homes too, you have the father doing that and the mother is not available. So it all boils down to who has time and can sacrifice and invest in taking care of the children.
There's nothing like who has time. We all have time if we make time. And it's not about the hours or the days. It's about quality and not about quantity. Let's just hear one more voice message, and then we'll bring you to some commercials, and then we'll get ready to join 99.7 for that debate between Kojo Yangsing and Mamavi Osobwaji. And the point is, who is the prize? When a couple gets married, who is the prize? Is it the man or the woman? But take a listen to this.
Good morning, David. This is Kojo speaking. And now I don't know whether to say it's my father or my mother is the best, because my father really raised me to know how to keep the values of life. You know, now we always say that this generation has lost their values, but I tell you that my father taught me, he raised me to be disciplined, to keep integrity and all the values of life. And my mother also raised me to know how to keep the house, how to cook, how to wash things, and those stuff. So I don't know whether to say it's my father or my mother who is the best, but there are people who their mother or their fathers were not responsible. In that case, I'm sure that it will be easy for them to choose whether, it's their father or their mother that is, the best.
Well, we thank you very much for being a part of our show this morning. Well, keep listening to Love 99.5. You would never, get any more moments.
One more question. Dada Bani Mama Ba, the two, what's the difference?
For the laundry drop-off, for the groceries, pickup, for the lunch sit down, or even the tank fill-up. Listen, when asked cash or card, say card. It's always card for me, because I switched from cash to card, and I'm happy about it. So for all my payments, I use MasterCard. Do same. Is the best under the conditions we find ourselves in right now. Well, KFC dropped the price, so you don't have to drop your favorite meal. Enjoy the delicious sweet Streetwise 2 for only 39 Ghana cedis at your nearest KFC restaurant. Limited time, unlimited goodness. KFC is finger-licking good. Now, let me also tell you about, Syntex tank. Listen, what is your preferred color of tank? Syntex has it. What guarantee do you want? Syntex has it. What kind of inner layer do you want? Are we talking about double, triple, quadruple? As many inner layers as you want, Syntex has it too. So remember, no matter your water needs, Syntex has it. Syntex tank, and you're strong, and you're tough. Now, with over 300 agents nationwide, you don't have any worry at all. To order a tank, just call 0244-335-168. And you can visit Syntex on social media at Syntex Ghana, or you can shop online on www.syntexgh.com. Syntex tank, you're strong, you're tough. Now, let me tell you about Zest Consult. Now, have you been searching for the best place for your IELTS, or let me say the IELTS, SAT and GRE tuition to make your study, scholarship and job acquisition abroad come true? Then look no further, because Zest Consult is the number one place for you. Zest Consult has taught over 5,000 individuals to pass the IELTS, the SAT, and of course the GRE. Over 3,000 nurses, midwives, and other workers have passed their IELTS through that Zest Consult to work in the UK and the USA. Now, some have also used the IELTS to also apply for schools outside the country. A number of students have also acquired scholarships through Zest Consult to study abroad for their undergraduate and postgraduate programs through the SAT, the GRE tuition that Zest Consult offers. Now, they can help you study in the UK, USA, Germany, Australia, China, and many other countries on scholarship. Zest Consult is also into real estate services. Now listen, if you visit, they will assist you actually in the selling or buying of buildings and litigation free lands. You can locate Zest Consult at Kumasi Cultural Center, or their second office at Dichemso near the Kumasi Airport runabout. Call them on 0555 631 633 or 050 9092 330. Zest Consult Excellence is our hallmark. Now, the Institute of Distance Learning, KNUST, announces that application e-vouchers for admission into diploma, undergraduate and postgraduate programs through the distance learning mode are now on sale. Diploma programs on offer include architectural technology, business administration and information technology, and many more. Undergraduate programs on offer include business administration with 7 options, quantity surveying and construction economics, construction technology and management, and many more. Now, the Institute of Distance Learning also has several postgraduate programs on offer in the following areas: education, sciences, and business. You can use this short code *477*160# to buy the e-voucher for application. Now, applicants can also purchase an online application e-voucher from GCB Bank, EcoBank, or Consolidated Bank Ghana and apply online. Now, for further enquiries, you can visit idl.knusc.edu.gh for all the necessary information, or you can call 0247 274 661 or 0500 482 885 or 050 1102 650. You can also follow them on their various social media platforms, that is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn at IDL KNUST. KNUST IDL, providing flexible and quality education at your doorstep.
My name is Nana McBrown. Many people think I get what I want anytime because I am popular. No, that is not true. It is because me and Kasano,